All right, welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 434, December 9th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle.
I'm another one of your hosts, Random Dave.
I'm another one of your hosts, Mo.
And I'm Kelly.
I'm Adriel.
Hey, Kelly.
Yay.
Yay.
Hey.
I was going to follow the thing, but it was taking too long. I just want to get to it.
That's
Yeah.
Thing, but you broke things. You broke stuff. You're just throwing the whole thing off, Adriel.
I love breaking
You got a system here. And Kelly's here. We have to be nice.
System.
I'm
Kelly,
not a
what?
systems processing guy. I break processes and systems.
Adriel,
Yeah.
I appreciate you for your succinctness and your ability to get right to the point.
All right.
It's just you're wandering around, falling over,
Okay.
getting back up, hitting things.
Well, we're going to
Appreciate you
get
too,
into
Kelly.
what we did with guns. And what we did with guns is brought to you by Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier retailer. And we haven't updated that.
They
'cause
have-
We did that last week.
Well, why don't we do it again? Because it's so pretty.
They have.
Yeah,
do you guys
so-
see the Glock watch that they have?
No.
No.
What?
Not really my thing, because I'm not. I don't wear watches, but some guys
Does
that are into
anyone?
watches and ladies that are into watches are really into watches. And what if you wanted a watch that was a Glock watch? It came with a Glock case for your
Yeah,
Glock watch.
I actually have seen this. There's a friend of mine who ordered one. No,
Interesting.
I can't do it.
I think
What
like-
makes it a Glock watch that it's in
It
a
comes
Glock
in a Glock case.
it's got a Glock logo
Glock?
on it.
Is that it?
Yeah. Okay, I will poo-poo it.
Does it like have
Let me see
elastic
them.
bands so you can put like spare rounds on it?
I don't know.
That would
It's
be
got-
cool.
It's got
Yeah.
Dayglow sights on it, so that's cool.
Mhm.
And it's kind of square and clunky, and it looks really uncomfortable. So it is from Glock. So that's
You know, with the case, it would have been cool if the top of the case was like cut out for the gun and the bottom was for the watch. So you just cracked it open and it was like gun and watch, good to go, and a knife. All
Yeah.
three of them. Like
I like it.
See, that'd be
rolled
kind of
into one.
cool. Yeah.
You go
Okay.
to
I
shoot,
want-
you put on your watch so you can shoot with your Glock watch to shoot your
Uh-huh.
Glock with your
Your
Glock knife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, ready for everything. You can open up boxes
Good to go.
and
That's how you know that person's legit.
They're all Glock. But then you need a Glock t-shirt and hat to go with it. So they should put that in a little bit bigger box maybe, or you could wrap it in it.
well, I'm sure you guys know people who have like Ferrari t-shirts who don't drive Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You can own a Glock and have the Glock watch or
True,
apparel.
good point. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
approachable. Yeah.
I got a Leopold hat and then I bought a Leopold optics. So I went the other
Okay.
way.
Is that how it
Very
works?
fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because
Jason
I don't want to be a
Sterling,
faker.
He's 100% correct. It's called
Yeah,
a
it's a
Swatch,
Swatch.
and we had him
It
20
is.
years ago. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Still fugly. But Calgary Shooting Center's nice. So go give Joff some money for a watch.
Joff.
Uh,
It's Jeff. It's pronounced
Stop it.
All right.
What
Adriel.
is this with
Adriel,
all
what
of
did
us?
you do in guns this week?
no, I'm mispronouncing everything just to bug you, Kelly.
it's coming. It's coming.
I'm going to trigger Keely's OCD tonight.
Keely?
There we go.
Sir, have you been drinking?
Kels. I think we all have been drinking.
I'm drinking tea tonight, actually, unlike Kelly.
Very fancy. Yeah, I'm gonna back up so I got like more gun space. This is the first thing that came in the mail. This is a Savage A22
Woo!
with a included scope. They changed their magazine design. So previously this was
No, that looks familiar.
I'll show you. Here's the 25 rounder. The 25 rounder has the old style magazine, which is like this plastic bit that
Ugh.
just bends, which I don't really like. Savage
Seems
did this on
breaky.
their Axis and on this, and they've changed them both. And now it's got like a little toggly,
Yeah.
rotaty bit with a pin in it, which is a lot nicer.
That
And it
seems
actually
less breaky.
goes in. It goes into the gun really nicely. Like this is a definitely a nicer way. And they also improved, because I took it apart the other night. That takedown pin at the back used to be like straight and bendable and breakable, and now it's kind of like a dome, so you're not going to bend it or break it when you insert the pin to remove that rear cover. So that's interesting. And I can't remember how tight a scope I tried on the first gen that I got, or the first versions that I got, but that one was very difficult to get the bolt out with a scope at like a height like this. the bolt can come out on this scope. I don't know if that's something they changed or just is the a factor of the height of this thing, but very interesting. And yeah, this one comes with a 25 rounder, which takes a little bit more jiggling to put in compared to the 10, but it's nice and solid. So
You got to jiggle
Nice.
it.
Cool.
Just a little bit.
So like I don't know, I've had those before. And then this guy came in the mail, and this
Nice.
is kind of interesting. So this is the
What the crap is that?
ISSC Scout. It's kind of like supposed to look like a stair scout. So they've got like the long fore end on it with the little angle on it and whatnot. It's a straight pull toggle. So
That's nice.
yeah, as you're firing, very quick back and forth on there. A couple things that, so I kind of took a look online and I saw a couple things on it. And then when I finally got it, this barrel is really nicely free floated in the center of that channel. So I don't know how easy it is to see there, but the free float is very nice. Perfect in spot there. I find the fore end like pretty long. I don't think I would ever
Chunky.
Chris Costa this thing and need to hold it out that far, but it's available, I guess. I don't really like this top rail here because I think if I ran a scope on this thing, I would probably run it back here,
Yeah.
where the normal spot where
Yeah.
you put a scope, right? And then that's going to interfere with the bell. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to have cheek relief problems. But look at how high the comb is compared to the receiver. It's actually
It's correct.
really high. I'm looking way over the receiver right now. So I
But
think
are you
even if
it doesn't have anything on it. Like it doesn't have
no sights.
sights. So
Perfect.
is it,
Perfect for
is it-
court cases.
Is it correct for if you mount a sight or if you mount like a red dot on it or anything like that?
No, you wouldn't be able to put a low mount red dot on this thing.
Mm.
I like that. I hate stocks that are way too low. This thing is not way too low.
No, and
I
that's
can
what I mean. It's good.
Yeah, I could not put a flush like a low mount
Right.
red dot on this thing. I'd have to run something higher, which is good. So
So-
I'm hopeful that if I put a scope on this thing, I'm going to get good cheek rest on it.
So
you
is there
have
no
to
way
cover
to put a scope on the receiver? You have to put it on the fore end, or can you
No,
put it
it's
on
got
the
a 3/8 dovetail right there.
Oh,
So
okay.
you could put a scope there just with a regular rimfire rings. Actually, it's not 3/8. I think it's 11 millimeter because they're European and they have to do things fancy in millimeters. But
Yes, they do.
yeah, you could run a red dot on there or a scope. I don't think I'm gonna run the scope.
Is that a 22?
Yeah, it's 22. Yeah, 22
Okay.
LR. Cabela's had these on sale for $250.
Wow.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Toggle bolts for $250. Now, what am I expecting? I'm expecting to get some failures to feed, failures to eject, but I am willing to dick around with it with a Dremel to make those failures not a problem anymore.
Of course you are.
Yeah. The magazine is a 10 round. It's a little bit big because they
Seems pretty
made it-
beefy.
Yeah, they made it look like this is common in a lot of the PRS 22s. They make like a full size magazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fairly stiff inserting and pulling out. So like when you actually go to pull it out, it's like it's got some grab to it.
Dremel that baby.
I might not. I'm gonna see what kind
Smooth
of
it.
feeding it gets because
it up.
if it needs that like perfect feeding alignment and I
That's
Dremel it,
true.
I might dick with the alignment that it's got on there. But
That's true.
pretty interesting. And then finally there's the safety right there.
That's
And,
awesome. Yeah, no.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to like. Let's say someone pulled one of these out of a maple seed, like, I don't
Yeah.
like it. I don't like you doing that.
Get your finger out of the trigger there, dude.
yeah,
SKS.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, even the SKS you can do with your thumb on the side, right?
No,
It is, you,
that's
have to
true,
put,
yeah.
you have to put your
Your
finger in
finger
there.
in the trigger.
Yeah.
And this is something I noticed with the last one that I had was like this. You can't feel the sear. You cannot feel the
No?
sear at all. I don't know if you guys have shot like a Type 97 or something like that. They're the same thing. You pull. Oh, it just goes off, and you can't feel a sear at all. This kind of rifle is the same thing. So I'm pulling, and it just goes off, and you can't. It's like you didn't feel any wall
They
whatsoever.
can't stage it.
Nope. Nope. Which is really good if you've got a flinch problem or something like that. A trigger like this is fantastic because you can't you can't predict when it's gonna go off. But oh yeah, that's the other thing. It's got these little shims on the
Spacers.
back, so you can pull those spacers off and bring it in a little bit
Make it
if you
smaller.
want to. Yeah. With the last time when I had one of these things, like you can really put your hand underneath that magazine and use it as like a rest.
Leverage.
If you look at Olympic standing 22s, they'll have like a ball and it'll be like way under the rifle, like a foot under the rifle, and it kind of like holds down here. But it's actually not bad for that kind of thing. So I don't know. It's kind of neat.
Try it. Let me know how you like it.
Yeah.
Peter says you can probably get an 11 millimeter to Picatinny adapter to fit it too.
I have so many rings. So like the about 3 or 4 years ago, I just got tired of it. And I just ordered like a crap ton of rings. So now I have rings for everything. I've got rings for like dovetail, 11 millimeter pick, high, low, medium, everything in between. So I've got them all, and I really like going for a scope on a rimfire that has a dovetail. I really like going direct. So the rings have the rimfire base on them because a lot of the adapters they have like a smooth clamping surface on them and they shift under recoil. Whereas like a higher quality ring mount will have like a nicer, bitier grabber bit for the. I'm using technical terms here. For
Grabber
the
bit?
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling rings from now on. The grabber bit.
Makes sense.
To be straight, I hate 3/8 dovetail. I hate it with all my heart. It's just such a terrible system. Great for like 100 years ago when they were machining these things and they had like no technology to deal with this stuff, but you got to put a lug in there somewhere if you don't want that stuff to shift. So I'd much rather have a pick rail. I'd much rather they'd just done pick rail the whole way.
I'm surprised they didn't do a full length pick rail because
the four
or at least put one on the
receiver. That would have been cool
receiver.
if they had matched up with a metal pick rail and then a plastic pick rail on the front that had matched up with it. That would have been really cool. But again, I got this thing for $250, so I don't know how much I can complain. might not be the right thing. And then I was talking to the CUSF about doing a spring webinar. So they have a webinar coming up in the spring. So I think I'm going to talk there about.
What are you going to do? About what? Tell me, because I'd like to actually tune in on this webinar.
I'm going to talk about cheap guns. I think
that's awesome.
It's something that I just showed you a $250.
You are the cheap gun guy.
Near and dear to your heart, right?
Yeah.
I think you're the perfect person to talk about that.
Yeah, I think
New channel right there, the cheap gun guy.
Well, and it's like the college students, and it's like I still buy guns like I'm a college student. I still buy like cheap garbage and I Dremel it to make it work. And
you know what? You wouldn't even have to change your logo very much. You just have something falling off it and a Dremel attached to it, and you're good.
The KD of gun ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I have to think about that for a second. KD, craft dinner. No, that's no distance. No, yep, craft dinner.
Craft dinner.
But it's not like a craft
Katie
dinner.
Lang. No, too old.
No, that is
And
like
then
wow, that's showing your age there, bud.
and then I got this in the mail here. Yeah.
I didn't get mine yet.
Really?
Got some girls on my calendar here.
Oh.
His went all
I'm
the way
surprised
to
Mo didn't
Alberta,
get his yet.
and you didn't get yours. I could have driven yours to you.
It's got to go through customs. That's why. To get into the nation of Quebec.
International.
Oh wow! Send them both on the same day.
Yeah. I think I mentioned last week that I mailed all the stuff out. So our listener that won the Dremel, Joel.
Did you sign it?
Joel H.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Signed it, sent it. I might have put some meat in there
Did you
too.
include some meat? Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go, Joe.
I got a package.
I sent out some. Kelly, did you try my meat yet?
No, I did not try your meat yet. I'm saving it.
Adriel has
Once
the
it hits
best
your
back.
lips, once it hits your lips, you'll never want to stop.
back.
Oh God.
It's a little bit salty.
And we're banned. Well, crap.
That's okay.
That's about me. It for me. How about you, Kelly?
I did a few things. I got a package in the mail. It had meat in it. Didn't have a sandwich, but had meat. So I am going to try it this weekend. We're doing a Gunny Girl signing, and we're going to talk about that in the upcoming events. I'll bring it to that. It'll be cool. Anyways, I spent this past weekend at the range every single day, a couple hours each day. So he's putting a bunch of people through their probation shoots. My club runs probation shoots, by the way. So I was helping out with that. Something else I can do at the range. That's awesome. And then as I was putting all the people through, we were having a fun shoot. It was a local, quote unquote turkey shoot for the Christmas season. So it used to be that we would just fire off 22s and people would win turkeys for Christmas. Well, the prizes aren't turkeys this year. We got gift certificates for Canadian Tire. I won my division. It was awesome. So I was finished up doing the probation shoot with one of the guys, and they asked if I wanted to shoot it. And I said, well, what's going on with it? What's the rules? They said, well, you'll be in this division. It's $2 a target. I said, I'm in. And which is cheap. And then I got an opportunity to do another target that was it was a blind target and you just shot anywhere. And it was 50-50. Didn't win that. But anyways, so the division that I was shooting was the optics division. And and I didn't know what the rules were. They didn't tell me exactly what the rules were.
Apparently didn't matter.
It was battleship, and they said 15 shots, and here it is. And I said, oh, okay. So my rifle, by the way, wasn't zeroed. I had been using the ammo that the club gave me as it was federal box ammo. Ugh. Anyways, so the Armory, who was running the shoot, he said, do you want to shoot it? He said, he's French. And I said, I don't know. And he said, come on, shoot it. Come on and shoot it. And we need the maple seed ladies. By the way, that's his French accent. And I said, okay. And the rest of the guys are going, oh, shit. You might as well just leave. And I'm going, no, I haven't shot in forever in 2 days. Let's see how this works out.
I'm using crap ammo, and my rifle isn't zeroed, and my laces are tied together, and I left my best scrunchie at home. And...
I said, let me zero my rifle. And I did. And then they said, you're not allowed to use a sling. And I said, okay. And I said, okay, no problem, because everybody else didn't use the sling. It wouldn't be fair to them. I said, okay, no problem. And I had 15 rounds, I had 30 rounds, and it was enough to complete 2 targets. So the first target I put together, and it was battleship, and I thought I had to engage each target in each ship. And they said, no, you don't have to do that. You have to go for points, because each hit on the battleship was 1 point, and if you sink the battleship, like for example, if you sink the aircraft carrier, you get the most points, and then the submarine the next. I went, oh, I didn't know that. So you go for points, and they said, yeah, go for points. So I said, okay. So the first target, it was not bad. Second target, sunk the aircraft carrier, sunk the submarine, sunk the anyways. So I brought it in, and I said, here's my target, and they're going, okay, you won. And I go, okay, here's my extra. Here's my $2 to participate. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. I haven't shot a fun shoot like that in forever, and it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of people. It was some ribbing from other people. So it was a good day at the range. So
it'd be cool if battleship, but hit factor scoring.
Oh,
that would be good.
How would you score that though?
With great difficulty.
Yeah.
You take your points, divide by your seconds. There you go. There's a hit
there you go.
hit factor, right?
So I made sure that I sunk the ones that counted. Well, I made sure I sunk all of them. I went back because the aircraft carrier, I had one, and it was it was pretty small target, and I had broken the line. I'm not sure if that actually counts. So I took another shot at it, hit the line again. I went, well, crap. So I got my shot on the third one, and I could have used those 2 other shots and sunk one more ship, and I would have cleared it. And they said, no, if you break the line, it was fine. I'm going, well, hey. And they said, you still won. I'm going, yeah, but still.
I could have won more. More winner.
It was fun. It was a really fun time. The calendars, as I talked about it last week, they came in. I shipped a whole bunch out. So, Mo, it's coming. I don't know where it is, but it should have went to you before it got to Alberta. And
it's probably in China right now.
Probably.
It'll make its way back.
Yeah, well. The other thing is also the calendars. They're selling like hotcakes, and apparently the online store, it is overwhelmed with people. just ordering them. So if you have
Good.
ordered the calendar, be patient. They'll fill your order, but they're going as fast as they can. That's it.
And then Kelly, I tried to
Cool.
put my code into the website.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It didn't want to take it.
You have to
Can
wait
you
until...
can you do me a solid and like make them activate it for me?
Yes, sir. No, you have to wait until January 1st.
You're in the wrong year.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, good point.
it's a 2022 calendar.
Nope.
You have to
Reading
wait.
is hard. Activate now.
Before the show I asked in earnest. Now I'm just asking as like a
Is it?
weasel question for everyone else to get the answer.
No, it's a PSA for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Okay,
I
that's
did the
it for
same
me.
thing last year.
Mo, what about you? You
I,
didn't get a calendar, I know.
yeah, I start off by I didn't get a calendar.
Sad.
I went to I went to another IPSC match in Quebec at the Outaouais range, which was my first time there. It's near Gatineau. It was 6 stages indoors, and they had two. They had the 6 stages over 3 ranges. They're smaller, but it was good room. The squads were nice and big, which made me happy. I was in a 12-person squad. One person didn't show up, but there was still 11 people, and they did them one at a time, which again made me very happy. I could have went for a steak dinner between the time I shot the first stage and the second stage. So that was.
So now you're complaining about the squad being too big?
The squad in front. The
And
squad in
taking
front of
too
him
much
was
time?
too
Yeah.
big.
This bet is just right. It has to be 8. No, I'm kidding. No, it was great, and they were fun stages. And I shot production again, so without the optic, and I did much better this time. And I was happy. I think it was one of my better matches. It's hard to judge because obviously it all depends on who's there. But I was happy with how I did. I don't think I made too many mistakes. My reloads were much better than they normally are. But I've been working on them, so that's good. I signed up for another match this Saturday. That'll be in Joliet. And some good news that they added that actual range that I'm going to this Saturday, added a level 3 for April. And I think it'll be the third level 3 in Quebec. Because there's the Montreal Indoor Challenge, and then there's the provincials that's usually in the summer, right? So it's nice to have another level 3.
You didn't mention how'd you do at the last match? Like, how was how's your shooting performance? Things that you did well, things you didn't do well.
So I've been working in dry fire practice on reloads. Like I literally stand on the edge of the bed, and I got 2 mags, and I just do them like with the timer. I over and over and over again, where I'm like making myself like work that, because with the Shadow 2, I find sometimes I'm not pressing the mag release button strong enough, and it's getting kind of hung up. And also I'm trying to work on like flipping my wrist a bit to try to get it to drop, right? Drops a little bit smoother. So I found that it improved in this match. I didn't have any issues with that. The other is I've been working again in dry fire on different angles, because then there's some of these matches that'll have a lot of close targets. They're like the hoser targets. You're not supposed to be spending too much time looking at your sights
Aiming.
aiming exactly, like just big bam bam and
Shoot.
move on. So I've been practicing just like around my house, make moving targets around and stuff, and I guess again working some off the closer to the ground, some a little bit higher. And so that worked out well as well. And I'm just trying to generally move faster. So instead of, and that's getting better. Like I finished, there were 22 production shooters. It was a small match. I think it was like just over 60. And I finished 6th. So I was really happy with that. Yeah. But again, I understand it works based on who's there, but there were obviously good shooters there too. But, the wick flick. That's funny. Thank you, Vanja. So I'm starting to see that stuff. My confidence is going up. I'm starting to see that the stuff that I work in dry fire is actually showing results, right? So, so that was it for that match. Like I said, I signed up for another one. I received the trigger I ordered from Red Deer. So that's the Timney Alpha. It's the Glock trigger. It's a competition. So it's not going to go in my competition gun. It's just going to go in my Gucci Glock. So, and it's supposed to get the trigger pulled down to 3 pounds. So
Sweet.
Nice.
Nice.
yeah, so that was that. I did some more reloading, and I've had a good supply of bullets, powder, and primers for a while, which is nice. I'm just starting to get low on bullets, so I'm going to be looking to buy some in the next little while. I'm going back to Ontario, so I'm going to probably pick up some. That way I can save a little bit on the taxes. And
When are you going back to Ontario? Where are you going? When are you going to see me?
It's all about Kelly.
just before Christmas, and I'll make sure I come see you.
Okay.
How about that? We'll have some eggnog together.
Ew.
No?
Can we have the rum that you put in the eggnog?
Sure.
Okay.
Can't say I
Rum,
ever thought I
eggnog,
would
all
hear
day
the
eggnog.
Yes, that's exactly
say I
it.
would hear the phrase "going to Ontario to save on the taxes."
Wow.
Yeah, what's your GST there?
Well,
In Alberta?
total
Quebec?
GST, PST in Quebec is 14.975, and then Ontario is 13. So I
Ow.
mean, it's not a huge savings, but then I save on the shipping too. So I'm just going to go.
That's not going to pay for your $10.
No, it's not.
It's $5 here.
It's not big money,
yeah.
no. It's not big money, but I have to go back anyways. I might as well pick them up. So,
Yeah.
And you get to see me.
And
I
you get to see
you.
Kelly.
Yes. That's
I hear
worth
it's beautiful in.
the price of admission to Ontario. No.
And there'll be no border stops this time. You know, we're back to being free citizens in our country, sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of. Until the
resemblance.
until the
The
Megatron
illusions.
variant comes out, and then it's all all bets are off. So,
Yeah, the illusion is more complete. Anyway,
and that's it for me. How about you, Dave?
I got I'm not going to show an address, but I got something from Kelly. Oh, yay! I got my calendar. So I'm going to go to the site and register it right after we're done here, so I can get my stuff. I'm very excited about that. I also bought 2 off the CCFR. So
Oh, thank you for doing
wasn't
that.
expecting one from Kelly, but I got one from Kelly. So I have 2 for Christmas gifts.
Yay.
And then while I was there, the eye test t-shirts with "The air is not an assault weapon," which are awesome. So I bought 2 of those because they were $10 off each. So that was great.
Nice.
And I got my,
I got one of those too, by the way.
Did you? I'm going to
Yeah.
start wearing it. I like it. A hat or a
Oh.
t-shirt? No, you got a hat. I'm holding up a cowboy hat.
It's not a...
Nice hat.
The reason I'm holding up a cowboy hat is because
Oh, look at that, the little Wrangler.
my
Yeah.
Ruger 22 Wrangler arrived. So
Nice.
$250 shipped, no taxes.
Pew,
From the people at Rangeview Sports. So
pew.
pew pew. And am I going to be making Alec Baldwin
Pew.
jokes? You bet your ass I am.
Sweet ass.
Yep. Well, I was going to, and I was really thinking about it, but then I realized I stand behind Alec Baldwin because standing in front of him is too dangerous. So, if anybody's interested in why these don't go off without pulling the trigger, let me know and I'll show you.
Well, you can show us
So,
the transfer
I'm
bar.
happy about that.
It's got a
Yeah.
hammer back there. You just pull the hammer
Yeah.
back. Should be right there. It's a
Yeah.
transfer bar.
Yeah,
If
it's
the
got a
trigger's
little
not pulled,
transfer bar
it
right
won't
there.
go off.
No
Mhm.
pulley trigger,
Now-
transfer bar, no droppy.
I'm not sure if the one he had a transfer bar or not. Most of them do. Most modern ones, but
Yeah.
some of them don't.
It still doesn't go bang unless you
Without
pull the trigger.
or
you're-
Yeah.
I mean, I guess on some of them, if you pulled it back part way and then let go, maybe, but you did something.
I feel like a lot of the ones that are like that have a half cock notch. that
Yeah,
would
a
stop
lot
the
of them
hammer
do.
from going down. Yeah.
I saw that article that I didn't pull the trigger, and I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit, man. I'm on the range. I'm screaming at your ass because you pulled the trigger or you did something to make that gun go off. Guns don't go off. It's not a thing. They're designed not to go off until you want them to go off. So he did something. Now, people were making fun of him going, you pulled it, blah, 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 blah. You know it. He may not know it because trauma does weird things to your brain. So he may
Yeah.
not actually remember pulling that trigger. I
That's
will
fair.
100% accept that. That PTSD can do weird things, and he killed somebody, so he's probably, well, not probably, he's super freaked out about the whole thing. But
I
he
would think, yeah.
totally pulled the trigger. So,
Yeah.
you know, shut up, man. I mean, as Dustin there pointed out, it's not completely his fault, because why was there live ammo on set? So there's all sorts of spiral of fail stuff there. But in the end, you pointed the gun at somebody. Apparently, during a scene you were practicing for where you didn't pull the trigger, you cocked the gun and pulled the trigger. So there you go, jackass. Anyway, that's my sanctimonious rant for the evening.
Nice.
And that's all I did with guns. Kyle.
Oh, well, I started doing some dry fire just with the pistol. Gonna start with the shotgun here soon, but just doing basic draws and reloads and try and get comfortable with that again. Probably gonna go to the range this weekend to shoot some shotgun, shoot some 5-stand, because we're not doing the turkey shoot this weekend, but we're gonna light the bonfire, open up the upstairs for our 10-stand, and yeah, just hang out, shoot some guns,
Nice.
have a bonfire, and we'll probably cut down our Christmas tree at the same time. So
You're going
Usually
to have a
people are putting them
bonfire,
up at
cut
this
down
time.
the tree, and at the same time,
yeah, at the exact same time. Yeah.
you're going to burn it at the.
Burn it if you gotta set it on fire.
At
And
the
you
same
shoot
tree.
it.
I like the sound of your Christmases. That's way more exciting than mine.
It's brighter than most trees.
Okay.
So you're
Briefly.
gonna be decorating it while it's on fire? Because that would be super cool.
Well, it's
That would be fun.
entertainment. Entertainment value. It's all about the entertainment value.
I like it. Sounds like a Japanese
And-
game show.
Yeah. So should be a good weekend. Bring the family out, and I got a calendar as well from Kelly.
What the hell?
Everybody but Mo.
I swear to God, I sent it to you. I mailed it.
It's because your public service in Quebec is too busy persecuting people who wear religious headgear, and they don't have time to deliver mail or on other
Okay.
insignificant things.
I think one of my neighbors is wondering why they got a calendar with beautiful women holding firearms.
Yeah. But-
Yeah,
So yeah, thank you, Kelly.
you're welcome. Hey, don't
And I'm
register until
starting to think I
January
need-
1st, eh?
You better go try just
After
in
the
case.
show, got it.
Yeah, go.
Starting to think it's gonna be it's a requirement that I need to buy a new gun, because apparently,
The Wrangler.
Tis the season.
apparently you need to own a Wrangler to be on the show. So
I
The
don't have
rest
one.
of you have one?
No, I was waiting
think
for
Mo bought one,
Adriel to
didn't
sell
you?
me his.
No. I think I will now.
Adriel.
And
Sorry,
a couple
fellas.
of hats.
250.
yeah.
I don't even own one right now, Kelly. Sorry, I couldn't sell you one if I tried.
Well, you could buy one and then give it to
Damn
her.
it.
It's Christmas.
True.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Season of giving. Got to give
It's a
people single
Grinch.
action.
I would
22s.
definitely go for the burnt bronze.
Just
one
not
that
Alec
Dave
Baldwin.
got.
Don't give him one.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
The only
bronze?
reason I got the burnt bronze was because they were sold out of all the other ones. So I'm like, you know what? I don't really care. I think it looks
I
kind
like
of
the
neat.
burnt
I
bronze though.
don't mind it.
Yeah, I thought I would hate it, but I actually don't hate it as much as I thought I would. I kind of
Looking
like
at the
it.
black or the silver, that I like that.
Yeah, stands out. It's different. Plus,
Okay.
if Alec Baldwin has it, you're going to know it's in his hand pointed at you, where you might miss a black one. So
Okay, for tonight's show, every time that Dave mentions Alec Baldwin, everybody takes
Drink.
a drink.
Yeah.
if you're not already drunk, Alec Baldwin.
Jesus.
So that's it for me. Let's get into upcoming events. And upcoming events is sponsored by Telos Alpha. Telos Alpha is a Canadian digital agency that works exclusively in the firearms vertical. They help with business processes, strategic planning, websites, e-commerce, and battling the stigma the industry carries with banks, merchant processors, and social media.
Alec
Learn
Baldwin
more
should call
at
him.
telosalpha.com. And for events, we have a bunch of Gunny Girl calendar signings. So if you got one of these calendars, you can take it in Ontario on December 11th to either Range 519, select shooting supplies in Cambridge.
519. It's not 519. It's an area code. 519. Anyway, continue, Alec Baldwin.
519.
He's from Alberta. It's okay.
It's true.
Dave, I'm gonna mute
no,
you.
that'll happen between 10 and 12 o'clock. So 10 a.m. till noon. And then also on December 11th, there'll be a Bullseye North in London from 2 to 4 in the afternoon.
Correct.
And then there's signings in Alberta on the same day. And the first one's at Calgary Shooting Center in Calgary, 10 a.m. till noon. And the second one is at the Shooting Edge, also in Calgary, from 2 to 4.
How come not
Bring your
Edmonton?
calendars to have them signed. And there will be limited quantities.
Quality is good. Fine quality.
Quality is good. The quantities are limited. And available for purchase the day of the signing.
Cool.
Nice.
Bring cash.
Are you attending any of these fine events, Kelly?
Well, I'm going to be at the, I'll be at their Cambridge, so range 519, select shooting supplies, as well as Bullseye North. I will not be in Calgary. Can't be in two places at once.
If anyone could, you could be.
Thanks.
Dave's on fire.
Oh, he is.
It's a good night. It's the hat,
Yeah, the hat.
ma'am.
So that's
Partner.
it for upcoming events. We'll get on to the news.
The news.
The
And for
news.
The news.
Like you guys sent this to me at the same time as I was like adding it. But there was a product recall at Cabela's. Some 7.62 by 39. Spicy ammo.
Spicy.
Mhm.
So, there was not much information about it at all. Did
Did
you
we-
notice
did-
that?
Apparently, it's flammable.
Did we watch the video with Ian?
We
I
did.
did.
Mr.
I
Ryan?
already knew what it was. I
Yeah.
already saw a couple of people being like, "Hey, I got this stuff.
Yeah. What does
got
this
black
chip mean?
paint
Oh.
on it."
I wonder if they're actually, are they really taking it back?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, I certainly
Yeah.
would.
Well, is this one of the charges that the mandatory minimum was removed for? Because there were some mandatory minimums for some gun
Maybe.
charges where it's like,
No,
oh, you have some API, 2 years in prison, I guess.
Only
Sorry,
for
I didn't know
criminals.
that.
only for criminals.
Yeah.
Well, many of us are unwittingly criminals. Like whoever ordered this and like, oh, black tips, neat. Okay, I don't know what that's
Yeah.
for. I'm just going to shoot my targets with it. And one day they shoot a metal target and they're like, whoa, did you see those sparks?
Neat.
Mhm.
That's weird.
Cool.
How come it went through 3/4 inch mild steel? That's weird. It just sailed right through and it scorched everything behind it.
Yeah. Those are the people. Why paint the tip? Just paint the whole thing. Why couldn't you just make the whole thing black?
Then you go find yourself something nice, like a gas can or something to shoot at. Just saying. Just saying.
Okay. Anyways,
So they should
yeah.
probably either return it or get yourself some steel wool.
Wow, Dave.
Please note this show is for entertainment purposes only and is
Thank you,
not
Dave.
legal advice.
It's a
Disclaimer.
paint stripper. Come on, you don't need to work that hard.
Yeah.
No, I guess it's well, I don't know. You dip it, swirl it. Is it oil
Let it
based?
bounce
I mean, it's
around the
probably
truffle.
full of lead. It's Chinese, so it's gonna
Throw
be
it in
hard.
an
To
ammo
do.
can. Let it bounce around. All that'll be off.
Nice. All right.
Entertainment
Before you
purposes.
return it to the stores, you're legally required. to, of course.
Yeah.
Watch.
Any-
So I don't know what you would even use this for, though. Could you imagine showing up to the range and like shooting the range steel with this stuff? I think I think the
No.
range executive, if anyone saw
We're
you shooting
gonna
that,
have a-
would be
yeah.
a little upset.
Yeah.
We've had one of the ranges I belong to. Somebody was shooting. Well, they shouldn't have been indoor with rifle ammo anyway, but they used steel core and an SKS, and they were not a member of the range the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's common.
So-
That stuff's all mild steel cores,
Yeah.
and that is like doesn't do a lot of damage. It'll
This stuff-
spark, which you shouldn't use in indoor because if you hit steel, it'll spark and cause a fire. But this stuff
Yep.
will
Steel
This stuff will cause
right
damage.
through whatever you're shooting at. I don't know what you'd use it for though. Like, what are you gonna plink with it? You can plink
Armor-plated
rocks and
deer.
make a cool sparky look to it. But if there's any like dried grass or anything like that, you're gonna start a grass fire.
Super animals like flying squirrels,
Oh yeah, it'll,
electric
it'll-
eels.
It'll get those super animals. Today's super animals.
Yeah,
Flying
they're
squirrel
Through
hunting.
fear. Mhm.
Coming
Sail
right at you.
through. You could probably put like 5 deer in a row, and this would just go right through.
Right through them.
Burn the
Yeah.
last one with that incendiary charge.
Only one way to find out.
5 wounded deer.
Field trip.
Yeah.
I was thinking Santa's reindeer. All of them.
Oh, you take them down. You'd shoot Santa's reindeer right down.
There's Donner. There's
Yeah.
Blitzen.
Barbecue.
Donner and Blitzen.
Pop a couple into the sleigh, start a fire on that thing. Oh, you go down in like a
Just take
blaze.
them down
Yeah.
like a comet.
Blaze of glory.
Wow, this has
Sorry,
gone bad.
Jimmy.
You've done that, yeah.
Sorry, Mo, you're not getting a Wrangler this year. Santa went down over in Calgary.
Woo.
Okay, that's it for the news. Let's get on to some of our local donations.
But the news is fun.
I know.
The news was fun this week.
This
That was the
week it
most
was,
fun
yeah.
news ever. Yeah.
Okay, so it's CCFR Legal Fund donations. We got Shooter's Choice Pro Shop and Colby Shooting Club in Waterloo donated $5,000 to the cause.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Awesome.
Very nice.
So thank you guys. And days are coming up for the court date, so donate if you can to the legal fund by sending an EMT to finance@firearmsrights.ca.
Yep.
Now we'll get into the
Donate.
yeah, help the cause. We get the new gun stuff, and new gun stuff is sponsored by Bolt Action Coffee. We're a brand ambassador for Bolt Action Coffee. The coffee is roasted in small batches, and it's quite honestly some of the best coffee you can get your hands on. Send it to your house by going to boltactioncoffee.com and use discount code SLAMFIRE.
Hey, did you guys
Hey.
see? I posted something recently on our Facebook page about Bolt Action Coffee.
I did not see.
They have discounts on right now, bulk
Ooh.
discounts. Go over and do it. I wonder if you can still put in our Slamfire code and get
Double
a
up the
discount on the
discounts.
discount.
As with the deer, there's only one way to find out.
Jeez.
It is true. Well,
Okay.
there's a couple ways, actually.
No.
My way's more fun.
Yeah.
It is.
So, anyways, let's get into
All
the
right.
gun stuff.
Okay, Adriel, new gun stuff. What do you got?
Yeah, you bet. Let me pull up the screen here. This first one, so I saw this at Cabela's. It was on sale the other day. I can't remember what the price was. It was less than this. Diana R22 bolt action rimfire rifle. I was like, I haven't heard of Diana before.
Never heard of that.
So I looked into it. This is actually a GSG or GSG? ISSC. I forget now. Did I have it in the notes?
GSG.
GSG. GSG is the parent company, and they're making a bolt action rimfire. It's not the same thing as this ISSC. It's completely different. The
You
mag.
know what that looks an awful lot like?
What's that?
Vigara.
Huh.
Huh.
Carbon wrap barrel.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber wrap barrel with a muzzle thread on it.
Picatinny integrated
Yeah.
rail.
That's like the
I
butt
like
pad
that
looks
butt
like
stock.
something you'd get off of a
That
a
doesn't
World
look
War
like-
One machine gun, the curvy ones that would like hold your
That's kind
shoulder.
of weird.
That's
I
to
still
brace
kinda
yourself
like it.
against the recoil. Yeah.
Of the 22? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's important.
That's neat. Anyways, I thought I would just showcase it because I haven't seen them before, and it's kind of neat that they're coming in.
Yep.
Price wise, they're pretty close to like a CZ or something like that. So it would be I would have a hard time buying one of these things over a CZ.
Mm-hmm. Holy
But it's neat.
macaroni.
Does
Which
it come with the Sig Sauer scope? That would make it worth it.
The next one is a B&T APC. It's on sale. This comes with an Aimpoint T1, which is a fancy red dot. So
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
there's some value there.
Yeah.
It's 9mm, 18.7-inch barrel, and it's $3,300. This is a PCC. So if you're looking for a PCC, a Gucci PCC, I
It
guess
is a
there's
Gucci.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the B&T stuff is all Gucci.
What
What?
kind of mags does this thing take?
I was just wondering that.
Mhm.
5 rounds. It comes with 3 mags, but what kind of mags are they?
I'm
Are
just
they
looking.
proprietary? That would be a mistake for the Canadian market.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be Glock mags or some pistol mag. Don't know. Anywho, that's that thing. And then, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Springfield Armory released an AR-15.
I'm just-
It's a chunky boy.
Ugh.
That is.
Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh.
It looks like the pulse rifle from no, not aliens, Starship Troopers.
Starship.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit
pretty
like that. It's kind of weird.
Based, That looks worse from that angle. No, this angle looks worse.
Was the
What
lower
have they
receiver and the
done?
forend all one piece?
I think it's a plastic overmold thing, or maybe it's aluminum. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jealous because I can't have AR-15s anymore, but I don't think I would buy this even if I could.
I don't think I'm jealous about that one. No.
That's really weird.
You're
Why?
okay that we can't get that
Why?
one? Yeah.
I thought I'd show it just because it's weird.
I
Yeah.
want the option, but that's just
Yeah.
weird.
And then Wolverine announced that there's going to be some Longboy GHM 9Gs next year. This will be around not the 3,000, 2K plus, like 2,200 or so.
I've never heard of it.
Well, they're fancy. I think this is B&T. So they're a little bit more expensive, but these are the long versions. More PCC options. It's a good thing. Good thing at all.
Yep.
Speaking of more PCC options, there's the Crusader 9. I think we looked at this last week. They had the horse riding guy who like pulled it out like a sword out of his scabbard.
Yeah.
This one's got a whole bunch of accessories on it that make it look real weird, but yeah, there's the Crusader 9s at Bullseye North, and it's $1,650. And this is a pre-order delivery date.
Yes,
for
it
5
is.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got this week.
That's
Bunch of
it.
weird PCCs. Yeah. Were those all PCCs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Or
Yep.
no,
No,
that's
not
not
the
you.
first.
Or
Oh,
the
not the
22.
AR-15. The
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. You.
So 2/3 of them were, or 3/5 of them were PPCs.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to the main topic. So
So
tonight we have Van from Apex Optics on. Welcome, Van. Why don't you just start off and tell us about yourself, and then we'll get into Apex Optics and what you got coming out for us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the intro. Yeah, so honestly, I don't even know where to begin. I've probably said this story a bunch of times before, but my background is in project management and program management from like a cybersecurity and IT perspective. I don't have a firearms like engineering background or anything like that, but I have been shooting for a while, and I've been a hunter for a while as well. And for me, one of the things that kind of drove me into long range precision shooting was the OIC ban and all that kind of stuff that our dear leader kind of proclaimed one day, and kind of in my mind kind of killed the sport of 3-gun as much as he tried. Obviously, Adriel and those guys still shoot, but for me, it drove me into long range shooting and looking into other ways to compete. I have an IPSC background, so I did my black badge and shot a bunch of competitions and that kind of stuff here in Alberta. And then I was thinking about getting into more of that, but then really just kind of got really, really interested in long range shooting and PRS style competitions, and tried that out a few years ago. And, did a fairly basic build, fairly inexpensive scope. And then I kind of started looking for more after I got a custom rifle built here by our good friends at EM Precision Rifles out of just in the Edmonton area.
Nice.
And yeah. And then I shot a one competition with Shane from EM, and then all of his sponsored shooters, and they were really, really helpful, and then kind of started guiding me down the right path of here's the things that you should consider next. And then once I built that rifle, it was like, you know what, I can't have this really cheap optic on here. I want to go next level with it. And I couldn't find anything that I wanted in the price range that I was looking at. And then all the features that I was looking for, the glass quality, the turrets, the kind of the total elevation travel, and the reticle itself. So that kind of combination of things really drove me to start thinking about, I have a huge procurement background from manufacturing with my dad's old company, and I used to help him quite a bit when I was in my university days, and then after I graduated and stuff. And I was like, I think we can do better. So I think we can make the thing that we're looking for at the price point that we're looking to have it at. And started talking to a whole bunch of people, and really started kind of getting some feelers out there on whether, am I out to lunch? Is this really a thing? Is this the gap in the market that I think I've identified? Is this a real thing, or am I crazy? And a lot of the feedback that I started getting back was, no, I think you might be onto something. So once we started doing that, I started looking for, people to work with and hear all the features that we might want to put into this thing. And I kind of started sending some questionnaires out to some of the shooters that I'd met through my competition days, and the feedback that I got was amazing. We had a lot of input, and started talking to manufacturers after that. So that's kind of the journey of how we started and where we got to. But this first rifle scope that we have coming out is our flagship product. We're calling it right now, and it's our first baby. But we really wanted to kind of land a big punch with quality and value right off the bat. Quality being the biggest thing that I was looking for when I was building a scope for myself. Really, initially, is like when I was speccing it out, like, here are all the things that I want, and then I started kind of validating them with some of the other shooters and some of the top shooters in Western Canada in the sport. And they kind of steered me in the right direction on some things as well. Said, yeah, you might not want to think about that, but focus on these things instead. And here's what's important, especially for PRS and long range shooting. So yeah, once we kind of got those things more or less solidified, then I started really reaching out to a lot of the different manufacturers that I've identified as potential partners. And we're settled on the one factory that we're working with in Japan, and haven't looked back so far since.
So what are some of the things that they were looking for specifically that they just weren't able to find in the price point that you're talking about?
Honestly, the glass quality was one in the price point. And then the reticle that we ended up designing, I couldn't find a reticle that I was 100% perfectly satisfied with. And then that combination of the turret quality, so the really positive clicks with no mush, and then the 15 mils of travel per revolution was another big one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that combined with a 34 millimeter tube and the 56 objective, it was kind of, let's build the one thing that we want to see all those features jammed into at that sub 2,000 price point. So that's kind of where we landed on.
Wow. Well, with the 34 millimeter tube, you probably have like a ton of elevation on it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have 32 mil tool. Yeah, so that's 110 MOE, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's nice that you basically get access to all of that within what, 1 or 2 dials, right? It's a pretty quick way of getting to it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And especially for rimfire guys, right? Because they more often will need that, and the ELR guys too, and the ELR shooters. The rimfire people will go, probably, a couple times a match past 15. So depending on how far they're going. But yeah, it's definitely useful. You don't have to crank that thing so much all the time.
So this is something that where are you in production right now?
So I've got one unit behind me here. We've got a whole bunch of pre-production first run units that we're testing with. So we've been sending those around the country. We're going to be taking them down to SHOT Show with us and trying to get as much exposure to these as possible. But we're in production right now. So I just sent the factory a whole bunch of money. So they're going to be making them for us as we speak. So hopefully come middle end of January, we'll have these units in here, barring any major disruptions in the kind of not the procurement, but the logistical side of the fence with the way things are with shipping and whatnot. I think I have 3 meetings set up with shipping companies and freight forwarders stuff next week to try and figure out how we get these things faster. Because right now the estimates that I'm getting are so out to lunch that I'm not even considering it. So
I've heard they're a bit redonkulous right now, like insane.
Well, I was wondering about that specifically for supply chain issues. Right now they're in production. So any challenges, do you think, with that?
Production wise, we've already sourced all the materials, so I'm not concerned with any of the glass or the aluminum billets or anything like that. All the parts, all the stuff has been secured. So from a production perspective, we're golden, we're good there, and we have our slot with the factory and for the production run. So that was the other part, is that they have a bunch of other customers, like some really big names that they work with, and they're like, oh yeah, we have 10,000 units on order, and we're way less than that. So make sure you get in before the big orders get in. So get your production slot in. So we've secured that. But now we're talking, how do we get into the ships and the containers and all that stuff, and making sure that there's no port delays like there are in Vancouver right now. And that was kind of our golden ticket before, is that, hey, we're not Los Angeles. We're, getting into New Westminster or whatever. That's okay. But now with the flooding that's happened and the backlogs of ships that are off the West Coast.
Yeah. Do you have to ship them in, or can you fly them, or is that just too expensive?
No, well, we're looking at that right now. That's my next week's meetings is to figure out air versus sea options, and we're battling through that. Interestingly, one of the guys that I was speaking to yesterday from a well-known company, he's like, yeah, I think we can do air shipments cheaper than some of the quotes that are happening right now for sea cans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, your product
That's
isn't that
crazy.
heavy. So,
No.
yeah, maybe it would make sense going by air.
Yeah, and it doesn't take up a ton of room, right? It's like, I think there's like 6 units per box and how many boxes, right? And then I think it's only like 400 or 500 kilograms that we're doing. So it's not horrible. It's definitely doable by air. Now it's just a matter of, is it logistically possible? Are they going to charge us through the nose? And
Yeah.
So Chris Kemble is talking about a couple of things here. He said that it's black and orange. Well, he says black and orange baby. So that's the color scheme that you have. It's really, I like it actually. So hey. Then he's also talking about bringing in stuff too, and he says that it's catch-22. Bring it in by boat, you'll wait forever, and then bring it in by air, it's basically paying through the nose. Do you want to show us the unit itself?
Bring it over. Bring it.
yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, tell us all about
So
it.
right now it's in a
Yeah.
one-piece mount, but I don't
Wow.
know
Very nice.
Wow. I like it.
So there's a couple of features on it that are kind of cool. Like you have the first in the industry see-through integrated removable throw lever, or is it lever?
Yeah.
Lever or lever? What?
I call it throw lever. I guess it's lever and then leverage, right? Like
It's lever, you heathen.
Yeah.
So
That's
really
cool.
what we're trying to do here is that this one's going to be removable in the final production run, but we have a fairly hefty zoom ring as well. We engineered it to be a little bit oversized so you could easily grab it, right? And it's a nice smooth action.
Yep.
But then if you really want under pressure of time and in competition to be able to kind of adjust it a little bit more easily, we included the throw lever, and it's 100% optional. But one of the things that we did was make it see-through so that you can actually see if it's in your way, you can actually see what position on the scope you are.
That's awesome.
It's not a deal breaker, but I think it's a nice, cool feature that not everybody has. Like most of the ones are thread in and screw in.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, in order to keep alignment, we actually have a set screws on each side that keep it in place, and it just kind of lifts out.
So because it is see-through, you have basically it's holes. How is if I torque on it? Will I?
Twerk?
No,
Don't twerk
there's no
on it.
chance. Yeah, I don't think so. It's like solid aluminum. It's just machined. So
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty. It's
Looks
hefty.
cool.
Yeah, and one of the things that we actually found through the testing is that this thing's a bit of a cheese grater. So we're radiusing all the edges and kind of the little things that through testing that I'm like, I actually hurt my thumbs a couple of times because I was reefing on it too hard. So I'm like, let's fix that too in production.
You want aggressive, but not too aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
from my perspective, if I'm in the middle of, if I or somebody else is in the middle of a competition and we need to do something quite quickly, we're not going to think about doing it. We're just going to grab and reef on it. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And kind of where your thumb or whatever lands, you can really cut the inside of your, the webbing there. So we kind of just take off the rough edges. That's all it is.
Okay.
And then go ahead.
I was just going to say, what type of stop zeros do you have on your turrets?
So it's a hard zero stop. There's an internal
Okay.
mechanism here where so if you see the same thing up here, which is that pop-up turn indicator, it's just a stainless steel component. It's built into the same mechanism inside the top turret, which just gives you a hard stop. And it's supposed to give you 0.3 or 0.4 mils under a dial under the zero stop as well. So yeah, and it's just a little thing that you set after you get your zero. You just flip it one way and you're good to go. So
Cool.
It's just a hard stop.
Nice.
I like
Well, we
those
do have
little
one-
push pins that pop up when you're rotated one turn. Those are cool.
Yeah, no, we thought it was important, especially to know when you're in your second revolution, right? So whether you're using the big numbers or the small numbers on the dials. So
Yeah, it'll be handy for me because one time the first precision match I ever shot, I was screwing with my scope the night before to figure out how many turns up I could actually go. A lot, it turned out, and then I forgot to set it back down. And then my idiot spotter the next day was watching somebody else's target and was telling me I was spot on. Nah, I was putting those rounds right over that berm. Because we're shooting 100 yards and I was zeroed for 1,000. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure I was missing the berm. I didn't see any splashes. So that would be super handy.
So I got a little bit of feedback from people that have been they used it recently at the CRPS Eastern Canada Championships. They had an opportunity to have a look at it and test it out. One of the things they said is that it's comparable to some pretty good, it's got really good glass, they said, but it's also comparable to some other higher end, higher-ish end scopes. Which scopes did you want to how do I phrase this?
Who's your direct competition?
Yeah, how about that?
Who are you gunning for?
Well, that's a good question.
In comparison.
Well, in comparison, I'd say to the things that we've tested so far.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you who we've tested these head-to-head, side-by-side with.
Cool.
So we've tested against the Minox ZP5 head-to-head. And I'm very comfortable to say that the glass is on par, if not
better,
as good or better.
Yeah.
Same thing with, I'll put it this way. I would venture a guess that 99% of the shooters out there will not be able to tell the difference between ours, Night Force, or dare I say Tangent, because we have tested them side by side. And, if we're 90% of Tangent, I'll be very, very happy with that. The other part is also Loophole Mark V. We've tested them side by side against there. You can't tell a difference. If you can tell a difference, then I'd be willing to bet some money on it. So, honestly, like we're trying to go after the kind of the mid to high end, high range of scopes. We're obviously not thinking, it's going to be a $7,000 or $10,000 scope, but if we can give you 90% of the features at the price range that we're at, I think most people will be very, very, very thrilled to have them. So
MSRP?
That's kind of what we're trying to. So MSRP right now is $2,100 Canadian. So we have a pre-sale going on right now where we're doing the first 100 units, and there's only a couple left. $200 off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the price right now is $1,900. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That was a great price point for what sounds like a pretty awesome optic.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to consider that because I have a crappy old optic on my precision rifle and I could use something a little better.
That's what I heard. That it is really good glass. So why Japan?
Because we wanted a reputation with our first product. We wanted to have a really good reputation for quality build and build quality, glass, most importantly, glass. That was one of the first criteria that we looked at for glass quality. And we started thinking about manufacturers, where do we want these manufacturers? Who are the manufacturers that we want to work with that make really excellent glass, that have a good reputation, first of all, at a price point that we can meet for the optic that we want to make, right? So because you start jamming in all these features into an optic, the price starts going up, right? So obviously manufacturers in China have been starting to come up with some really, really good quality optics in the last couple of years. But then there's also manufacturers that miss the mark when it comes to glass. Yeah. And Philippines has a good reputation because in a lot of some of the really big brands out there have some products that are made in the Philippines that are excellent, right? So that was a consideration as well. Now, none of the European manufacturers really wanted to work with us at the time. So maybe in the future, we might have a super high-end scope that we come out with that's made in, Austria or Germany, but not at the moment. But we landed on Japan as having kind of the best of both worlds, where it was a quality of, the optical quality was there, the build quality was there, the reputation was there, and it's something that we could, technically piggyback on as far as reputation goes. Here's a company that has put out a lot of good products out in the past, and here's our spec that we wanted to make. And, there wasn't going to be a lot of questions around, hey, are you sure you want to work with that factory? And we heard, they've made some crap products in the past, and, we didn't want to have to deal with that. So Japan was kind of a natural choice for us because Japanese glass is fairly well regarded in the marketplace. And, we did a couple of things as well to try and enhance our standing in the market by coming out with some new innovative things and trying to
Yeah.
jam as many of these things into the product as possible. So yeah,
Didn't they also vet you a little bit too?
they did. They did. Yeah.
That's good quality. That means I would like to work with that company.
100%, and that was part of the things that kind of sealed the deal for me, because it was like, they're just going to work with anybody who wants to slap a logo on the side of their stock standard offering, right? So, I mean, they could, but they also want to make sure that they were getting into a working partnership and a relationship with, hopefully a long-term one, with somebody that has some level of expertise, they know what they're talking about, and they're funded, for one, right? They're not going to just buy 2 or 3 sample units and then call it a day.
Yeah.
So kind of want to know what made you decide to get into making scopes. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I know that you're a busy man.
Yeah, way too busy. It's that's a good question. What made me want to get into making scopes? Honestly, I didn't really want to. It wasn't something I ever thought I would do. I haven't had a dream of having an optics company or a firearm company or like that, even though I'm a huge enthusiast. I shoot a lot, but I think it was kind of born out of necessity and opportunity. So maybe call me opportunistic. I guess that's the nature of our capitalistic market. But I honestly saw a gap, and I didn't want to spend $2,000 for a subpar optic that I was going to shoot next season. So that's what drove the whole thing for me. It was, what is it that I want to use? What is it that I want to have on my rifle? And then try to build that along with, like I said, input from all the other people that participated in the project. But it just kind of came down to that. And then once I started talking to everybody's like, yeah, no, you need to make this because I'd want to shoot it. So
Canadian product. Yeah. It's awesome that we can actually have more and more things that are from the Canadian firearm industry here in Canada.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's where most products come from too, is somebody's just like, you know what? I can't find this thing. And then they end up making it. So.
Yeah. And it's getting so much easier too, because so many people we have such a skilled workforce in Canada. I mean, relatively speaking to most other countries, like we have a lot of smart people in this country and that know how to do things like machining and, 3D modeling and printing. And there are a lot of good companies popping out, just exactly like you said. Hey, I can't find this. I'm just going to make it. And then other people are like, that's awesome. How much do you want to charge for that? So,
yeah. Well, we're seeing a lot of like PRS and that kind of sport driving like some really interesting innovation.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the rails and the stocks and the scopes and like it's driving some really interesting practical developments that haven't happened for a long time. Go back 10 years and look at what scopes were available and what you could get and what the selection was like. And it's not nearly as good as it is today.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
Sure.
There's so many companies making so many things that I've never heard of. I just see stuff online. I'm like, 10, 15 years ago, it was all like a dozen companies. You knew who everybody was. And now there's some awesome stuff out there that little companies just make something
really nicely. Yeah. Gators specific has all these really interesting features on it. The throw lever, you wouldn't have seen that on a high-end scope before. But it's very practical. It's a very practical thing for precision shooting to need a throw lever to rip the magnification around when you're on the clock. And I think that's a super practical example of competition driving innovation and people seeing a need and then being like, you know what, I want this and this and this, and building a cool package scope like you've got there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No, that's exactly it. It's kind of interesting how some of the things from the competition space drive product development and other things like hunting or tactical shooting or whatever, right? And vice versa, right? You'll see things like we're coming out, the next line that we're doing is going to be in our 1 to 10 range, and then also a hunting scope that's going to be most likely 3 to 15, but we're going to have more or less the similar form factor to this thing in just a slightly smaller package, and now obviously a little bit more lightweight, which is the intent of a hunting scope, but exposed locking turrets, all that kind of stuff, and potentially even the throw lever, because you may want that in a hunting setup. I don't know, and we're just going to be the option. But those are all the kind of things that we think are kind of cool and important, and the things that we want to use going forward. So
I think it'll be useful. I think if you talk to enough hunters and you say, hey, have you ever been out hunting and a deer popped out right next to you and you brought your rifle up and you're at like 15x? I think the answer is going to be yes to pretty much everyone. We all
All I
we all
saw
make
was
that
his
mistake,
eyeball.
right? And to have a throw lever, your scope's cold. The grease is a little bit cold. It doesn't want to move as easily. To have a throw lever, heck yes, yeah. Give me that thing. Let me rip that over.
You got a glove on.
Yeah, I was out.
Yeah, exactly. The gloves. Yeah,
I was out last year. Exact same thing. Exact thing. I had a deer pop out, and I had what the hell was it? A 3x9 or something. And I had it up at 9 because I was glassing, and the deer popped up. And went, I'm like, well, I couldn't get my hands on the turret on the ring to turn it because yes, I was wearing gloves and it slipped. So yeah,
and a lot of those PRS guys, like they're gonna want to go hunting, and they're gonna want the same tech on their hunting scope. They might be making a shot at 400, 500, 600 yards, and they'll want the magnifier to be exactly the same as their PRS scope. They're gonna want those locking turrets to dial in and like drop that bullet right on that deer, right? And they're gonna have the skill to be able to do it.
Yeah, and on top of that, they're going to want a similar style of reticle, right? With the similar feature set that they're used to shooting. Like what I say to people all the time is like, I switched from a basic, just a Nikon duplex reticle on my hunting scope to one that has, pretty much one of these because I shoot 1,500 to 2,000 rounds a year for my PRS stuff. And, you have so much time behind the gun and your ammo really well. And then all of a sudden you go and shoot 1 to 2 rounds a year when you're hunting. It's like, well, why would I switch to something completely foreign to me if I'm just used to shooting with, exposed tactical turrets that I can just click in whatever I think the dope is. So,
yeah. Turrets are good. And I'm looking at that reticule of yours right now. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that your center dot is floating and you have space around it. That is great.
Yeah, thanks. No, we had a lot of input on the reticle. That was probably one of the things that we wrestled with the most was the reticle design. And we had probably I can't even remember how many, but probably 14 or 15 iterations of this thing. And then inside those, we had different versions, and we finally had a couple ones that we ended up voting on, and this one won out the day. So all of them had that center floating dot for sure, which was super important to us.
Very cool.
We're just bringing it up now. Awesome.
Nice. Delicious.
Lots of information. So you touched on it a little bit. So you touched on the fact that you're doing, what's going forward, whether there are options you have a hunting scope that you're looking at, anything else like binoculars, etc.
Yeah, definitely. So as far as rifle scopes go, we have the 1 to 10 LPVO that we're working on right now, and we're trying to push our manufacturer to do something a little bit out of bounds, which might be super innovative. And I don't know if anybody else has done it all that much, but I can't talk about it yet, but we're trying with that 1 to 10. And then the 3 to 15, which more than likely is going to be a 3 to 15 times 50 millimeter objective lens hunting scope. And then binoculars and range finding binoculars are kind of the next things that we're on the R&D cycle right now on.
Cool.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Great.
Hey, what's your,
obviously go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, what's your warranty like?
We're doing a lifetime warranty on everything. So
which is
and it's a no hassle warranty, no BS. There's no forms to fill out. There's no registration or anything like that. I mean, we're doing mostly direct to sales for our customers, but regardless, like we know it's our product. So we'll back it up. No issues. If you have any problem with it, if you're not happy with it, even we'll take it back. Right. So that's kind of the things that we're also offering as part of our, kind of buyer assurance program is that, a lot of people are going to be buying it sight unseen because we're not in stores, and we're going to be in a lot of firing lines next year and a lot of different competitions. So people are going to get an opportunity to play with it and kind of get their hands on it. But if you put in a pre-order, if you're planning on putting in a pre-order, if you don't like it, if it doesn't meet your expectations for whatever reason, once you get it, we're more than happy to take it back and give you a full refund. But as far as warranty goes, we have our warranty that's going to be set up here out of Calgary. And then we have another warranty center that's out of the States. So down in Texas. And we're able to do all warranty claims for our customers out of both those facilities. And we won't do any repairs. It'll be a direct replacement.
Nice.
Okay.
Any issues with resale? Like I buy a used one, you still warranty it?
No, we warranty 100% transferable to whoever the customer is. Yeah.
Awesome.
So is it going to be available both in the US as well as Canada? Obviously in Canada because you're here. But what about pre-order date? Like you said that you had 100 units and they're pretty much almost sold out.
Almost sold
But-
out now. We have a couple of units left. I think there's probably like 8 to 10 left in the pre-order batch. So
Okay. When do you
After
expect
that,
delivery?
we're expecting delivery in Q1 right now. So initially we had plans to have them shipped out by end of January, but right now that's a little bit up in the air, like the logistics stuff that we talked about.
Yeah.
So right now we're
Yeah.
definitely promising a Q1 delivery date, but it'll be definitely in that time space for
Okay.
sure.
Nice.
All right.
All right. So the last thing that I have, well, I have a lot of questions.
So many
That's
questions.
okay. Go
I
fire
know.
away.
So it's available on a MilDot. Any thoughts on MOA?
We've had some questions on that for sure before, but right now the vast majority of
Are
PRS and kind of CRPS style shooters and Rimfire shooters are all MilDot. So there's a small minority that shoot MOA, but we didn't want to carry too many different versions of the scope to start with.
Yep.
We are considering it for the next run for sure.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll keep an eye out on that, and we'll have some announcements on our website once we decide for sure.
Okay. Yes, Kelly Lynn, MOA is life. Thank you, Tim Chris.
Tell Kelly that MOA sucks. Like, nah, you got to use Mill. You're using the wrong one, Kelly. Sorry.
PRS, you need Mill. Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because I had the same question, Kelly. So
I'm sure Chris has asked me that before too. So that's.
we did have a comment on the shipping earlier on saying Prince Rupert has a container shipping port. Not sure if that's an option. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. Right, taking notes right now.
Peter is wondering, how about a spotting scope with a mill reticle?
That's interesting.
Definitely.
There's very few of them out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really only a couple. Yeah, and we're planning to come out with one. I'm not sure if it's going to be in 2022, but it might be the year after. But we're working on it. It's hard to come up with. There are not very many manufacturers that do high quality ED glass, that do any kind of OEM or ODM manufacturing in the spotting scope area. And the same we found to be the case in with binoculars for some reason. So all the companies that do rifle scopes, they generally don't touch binoculars or spotting scopes. So it's interesting. But we're working on it. Yeah. And it would be like a milling style reticle that we're going to probably include. It wouldn't be this one, I don't think, the one that's in the rifle scope, but we'd have like a ranging reticle in there and milled out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet. So
I'm excited to get my ass kicked on the next Rimfire match. Someone with better stuff than me.
It's all about, yeah. 'cause
It'll be
you couldn't-
cool. It'll be like,
couldn't couldn't shoot a good match with like a crappy old bolt action, could you, Adriel?
Well, if I knew my dope, maybe. I think that's like an important step is knowing your rifle dope. But
I'd be more worried about you with a crappy old single shot Norinco in a match than I would be about an awful lot of people with a $5,000 rifle. Frankly,
my experience is
high praise.
Otherwise.
Well, Adriel, I might have to send you one up for you to give it a try and see how you like it.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Adriel probably knows a guy could review it.
yep.
I've never heard of that guy.
Yeah, sort of a gear of hunting or something. Huh?
Yeah.
Gear of hunting. Well, that's all the questions that I have.
Did I see on the site that you mentioned there's free shipping in Canada and the US, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we're doing free shipping in Canada, US. Yep.
Nice.
Makes it easy.
Yeah, I think we're trying to make it as kind of a pain-free experience as possible. And one of the more important things that I want to note about our pre-order too is that we're not taking anybody's money right now. So we could have charged everybody's credit cards the day they put the pre-order in, but we're just basically saying put your credit card in, put your information down, and reserve your unit at that price point, right? So we're going to charge you when the units ship.
So not even a deposit?
Not even a deposit. No,
Oh,
it's
wow.
a low-risk proposition.
So you still
Very,
got Christmas money, folks. So go buy scope, pre-order scope.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Are you
Yes,
going to get
Dave.
into carrying rings and accessories eventually?
Yeah,
or-
Yeah, we're working on that right now. We're talking with a couple of different Canadian companies on manufacturing some rings for us. So
Nice.
we're hoping to have them made in Canada.
Awesome.
So people are going to have to order direct from you. You're not going to be doing retailing, correct?
Not at this price point, unfortunately. We can't. Like it's really hard. So our kind of model has always been direct to consumer in our minds because of the price point that we want to achieve.
Yep.
So there's been a lot of interest from Canadian retailers, especially, and even international ones wanting to do distribution and all that kind of stuff for us.
Yeah.
Obviously, some are like really hard to reach places like New Zealand. We're considering distribution, but for Canada, US, we want to do direct to consumer. One of the main things that we're actually working on right now is like a new interesting hybrid retail model. So we've talked to a couple different retailers, we've pitched it, and they seem to be on board with this. So we might be coming out with something like that, but it'll still be true to kind of our direct to consumer as well.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Where can people see you? Website, social media?
Website, social media, Facebook, Instagram, we're all there. Apex Optics, apexoptics.co. And then you'll see us a lot on CRPS next season. I think Rick's going to be announcing something next few days here for as far as sponsorship goes.
Sweet.
And then I believe we're going to have one of our optics on a demo rifle all through this next season. So
Fantastic.
Awesome.
yeah,
That'll be fun. Maybe I'll get to see
yeah,
it.
definitely looking forward to it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
We'll have you
Thanks,
on
and
again
look forward to
when it's
seeing it.
delivered, and then also when you have some other things that are coming out as well. Yep.
Sounds good, man. More than happy to come back anytime.
All right.
Awesome. Okay.
Thanks, Vanja.
Thanks,
Bye.
man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Van, for coming on. Good to see some more Canadian-made projects coming out.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Very fancy.
And Rick likes it. So there you go.
Yeah, I asked him. So, did you like it? He said, "Yeah." He said, "I would get it. I'd buy it." I trust him implicitly, by the way.
Mm-hmm. He has a
He knows
trust
a couple things. He knows a couple things about 22s and long range 22 shooting. A couple
Little bit.
things, right? Yeah. And Matthew knows a couple things too. Yeah.
John
I
Gingrich.
recommended one of his YouTube videos on Reddit just recently because I don't know why, but I hadn't watched their bolt versus semi video yet.
Yeah.
They've got one on comparing like 22 accuracy, bolt versus semi at various distances. Every once in a while, someone posts on Reddit like, with my 22, I was shooting at 200 yards and I got sub MOA accuracy. I'm like, nah, you didn't. No, you didn't. You cherry picked your groups, or you're just straight out lying to us. And so, anyways, I shared that video because they're getting like realistic accuracy from two like pro shooters from pretty good platforms, and they're not MOA accurate at like 200 yards.
No, they would not
of
be.
course they wouldn't be, right?
It's 22.
If you want some great videos on Rimfire, go to Womfat.
Yeah.
Yep, good
Go
ones.
what now?
Womfat. That's
That's the name of his channel.
That's the name of his channel.
It's unique. It's pretty
It
easy to
is.
find. There aren't any
And-
other Wombats on there.
Yes, and the other thing is also they re-released their Christmas music 22
I love that
Sorry.
video.
Nice.
To make
Nice.
Christmas music.
when they did Christmas
Nice.
music by shooting their
Mhm.
22s.
Love
It was
those.
awesome. Okay,
Yeah, those were good.
Cool.
okay, that's it. You may move on.
Okay, thank you.
You may continue.
Yes, ma'am.
With Kelly's blessing, we'll go on to listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. You can follow him on the socials too, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
I'm just posting something. Sorry.
Okay.
And Jason's not a fan of the Crusader. I actually think
Yeah.
Cringe
There's
AF.
the name's cringe, and I don't know if the price is that bad. I mean,
people in the
1,700
Middle
bucks,
East will be
it's up
popular
there,
with
but
I just
it.
like
So
that they
ugly, I like it.
continued with the theme, right? If they would have stopped and like been more serious, I would have been like, nah. but I like that they continued to be obnoxious and pulled the gun out like a sword on the horse.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they're carrying it through to completion. I
Over
love
the
it.
top drama. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Give it to me. That's got to be the way it goes.
Well, Dave, do you mind reading the first one? It's a super short one.
Yep. Hi guys. I totally didn't pull the trigger. Signed, Alec.
I don't know who that's from, but okay, Alec.
Yeah,
geez.
popular.
Word for
Okay,
it.
we'll accept your word for it. Cool.
Sounds like a trustworthy guy. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it's good.
Next one's a long one. Longer, yeah. Kelly, do you want to take this one?
Oh my God.
Hi guys, after a partially abysmal season in ORPS, I've come to the realization that my current 22 choice is not the correct answer. Before we get into technical details, let's clear off the semantics. Most of ORPS is shooter, not the gun. Something I will freely admit is a work in progress. Choosing the correct stance position, a good understanding of the fundamentals, etc., are 90% of your success potential. I wonder if he's gone to Maple Seed. Anyways, for the last 20%, I've decided to lean on a Remy 597. Why? Everything is half the cost or less than a 1022 equivalent. I'll drop megs freely. It will drop megs freely. Sorry about this. With an AR positioned meg release, megs are cheap. Some parts are available aftermarket, like trigger springs, Gucci barrels, and stocks. However, it prints like a BB shotgun, a load through an open choke. Okay. In testing over 12 to 15 different types of ammo, I managed to find one that will print roughly 2 to 3 MOA. Going into our ORPS, I thought this is sufficient until I met the Know Your Limits target placed out at 50 meters, shooting off a ladder or upright tire. Add the cold of fall/weather, shoots, jams, misfeeds, and the failure to have all reared their ugly head to compound it. Summary, it's just not accurate enough, nor am I. But it's difficult to improve when you know slingshot is more accurate. So I have a choice. Continue to try and support a defunct brand and platform by upgrading to a Gucci barrel and a Slamfire trademark smithing it to make it work better, or just move on to something else. But what? I mostly refuse to join the 1022 crowd. It's boxy magazines, poor user ergonomics for bolt, hold open, mag releasing, etc. Well, sucks worse than Trevor on a sucks worse than Trevor on a 100-meter run and a gun.
Hey, Trevor is high speed, low drag these days. He's no longer bag of insulation, so
yeah,
can't say that.
So any stock model has to be almost completely replaced to work right. Parts are overpriced, and it just seems so outdated platform-wise. The Grey Birch is certainly on to something with a bit of a redesign, however. So I'm considering looking into the bolt world. While some speed would be lost, it can't be any more than clearing jams and misfeeds with a semi. Well, I love a Voodoo. Ooh, he has expensive days. It would be likely. It will likely cost me more than more in the divorce than it's worth. Therefore, some sort of budget is necessary.
But it might not. He did say likely, so he's open to this. So,
okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Thoughts wandered to the Big Arrow CZ's 457 platform. By the way, they're both good. Or until recently, Tika's T1X. Something. Holy crap! I can't see. 16-inch in barrel length or shorter for maneuverability. That as aftermarket support is reliable and, most importantly, less picky with ammo, inherently more accurate. I was thinking this route. I do have guilty ambitions for CRPS. Okay. Something possibly coming to our range, if expansion occurs next year. Also riding shotgun, pun, he said, as a camp plinker, ditch chicken hunting rifle. What's a ditch chicken?
Partridge.
Gross.
Oh,
Gross.
okay. I got it now. Long-winded, I know, but input most sincerely requested. Thanks, Travis. Wow.
I would relegate your 5.97 to Camp Chicken / Plinker gun
Mhm.
and buy a 457 a
Yeah,
CZ.
Mm.
You cannot go wrong with that.
So they'll be more accurate. They'll be reliable.
Yeah.
The T1Xs, every once in a while, I see the mag, the round goes in and it sticks up as it's trying to go in. Some of them have that issue. The 4.57s, no such. Fully reliable, very very good accuracy
So
for them,
out of everything that
especially for the money.
Yeah, out of everything you mentioned, the CZ is his best option.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to spend the money in like a Voodoo or whatever. So
And in terms of like a semi-auto versus a bolt, like at ORPS or CRPS, they're precision events. They're timed,
yeah,
but the time is never the factor. The accuracy is. You have to make your hits.
Yeah.
So a platform that's more accurate, like the 4.57, is just going to be a better option. That's the one I would go with.
and he should be
100%.
able to run it.
You can't miss fast
He
enough to
He
win.
should be able to run it.
Well, he's already
Even
done a
though it's a bolt.
season, so he's already got like some familiarity with like building a position
Yeah.
and some of those fundamentals that he got with the 5.97. So now he can just take that and apply it to a bolt gun that'll be more accurate. You'll have to run the bolt, which is something, but I think it'll be fine.
So if CRPS is going to come out to your range in the near future, as you're saying, you might be able to try out some of those different firearms as well. But you probably want to buy something now, I'm assuming, and start practicing over the winter.
Boxing Day sales.
Boxing Day. CZ.
CZ's map pricing. I bet you there's no boxing. Well, there might be a
might be
boxing day
some.
sale for it.
Yeah.
But they're map pricing, so I can't imagine there's not going to be a lot of variability in pricing on it.
Hey, have you noticed that we've gone to really, quite frankly, we've really like CZs, whether it be a rifle or it's a pistol. We're all fanboys.
Yeah, nice
They make
guns.
good stuff. Yeah, they do.
I'm going to unload some stuff in the spring. I might end up getting one of those 600s. The Alpha.
Hey. Yeah.
6.5 Creedmoor hunting.
Yeah. Those are sexy. By the way, are you going to unload your Wrangler?
I don't have a Wrangler.
You can borrow mine,
So
Kelly.
no.
No, I want one. Anyways, I never thought I'd ever say I want a revolver. Weird.
You know what? I didn't really want one, but they're kind of cool. I like guns that are kind of cool, like when you take people out and you put it on the table and they're like, woo, old west gun. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. I mean, there's a reason we don't use these anymore because they're stupid. But
they're so slow. Like even at the range, just shooting it, you're like, I gotta push this rod to get every shell out of this thing.
And this one, when you've got the loading gate open, it doesn't click on each one either. I don't know if the bigger ones do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when you've got the gate open, there's no clicky. So I think the gate's doing the clicky, so they just spin. So you're gonna have to kind of, I don't know, just push the rod a bit and push it till it comes in. I don't know. I'm not familiar with single action.
First world gun problems.
It is 1832 first world gun problems. But I kind of wanted one just to have a single action and show people at the range too, just how they work when I'm teaching people how to use guns. Not that they will ever see one of these, but if they happen to be on a movie set with Alec Baldwin and I show them, they'll know how to ensure that the gun is clear from behind. So really, I'm going to save lives with this probably.
There you go.
And idea for a match, by the way. Speaking of Alec Baldwin, I should be drunk yet. You could have a cardboard cutout of a camera crew, and that could be your target.
Oh, you are
dark target.
But no.
Just
you
saying.
have to shoot him without pulling the trigger, though.
Yes, that is the trick.
Dave, I have a question for you. Were you
With no ammo.
Were you a young actor starting around the same time as Alec Baldwin? Possibly.
Possibly.
Did you get a spot you didn't want? You wanted?
Sounds like there's some history there.
He's substantially older than I am, I think.
I'm
I don't
kidding.
know. He looks old. Anyway, fat too.
Jesus. Okay. All right.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Alec Baldwin.
We got nothing for Patreon, Instagram, no Facebook reviews. If you would like to send the show an email, you can send.
We got a Patreon.
Do we?
Yeah. I'm sure we got one. I just saw one recently. I don't see them. There's a new patron.
Joel
We'll
H
mention
sent
next
us a little bit, but he sent it to us via. But the other one was Patreon paid us, by the way.
No, there was another one. I don't know where it went. Maybe someone deleted it. Whatever.
Well, sorry if we missed your recent Patreon. We'll catch it at some point, I'm sure. But if you would like to send the show an email, you can send it to slamfireradio@gmail.com. If you'd like to become a Patreon, you can go to Patreon and find us there, or click link in the comments here. And we've been more or less keeping up with the comments. There was one I wanted to highlight here, and it was Russ saying, sorry Mo, you guys calendars in 2 days in Northern Ontario, must be customs on your side.
I don't know what it is. Seriously.
Quebec.
Customs.
Quebec.
I checked the mail today. I know I did.
Quebec.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just going off Letterkenny.
Disney Quebec then. Russ also commented, just complete aside here. Did you guys talk about CERB for gun in Montreal? Yes, gang members have been using CERB to buy illegal handguns and probably drugs. Not shocking because they're criminals and they're getting money. So why not? I mean, we use our money to buy guns. So, why shouldn't they use their free money to buy guns? Perfect cyclical system. The government buys the guns, the gangbangers shoot people with the guns, and then they take our guns, and then the gangbangers get more money, which they use to buy guns. It's perfect.
Yeah, and we pay for their guns and we get ours taken away.
Yeah. Well, something's got to pay for it.
It's system, yeah.
Okay. Shout outs. Kelly?
I'm just going to want to give a shout out to everybody who participated and also organized the fun shoot on the weekend. It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Nice.
Cool.
I got to go buy a turkey, though, for Christmas.
I thought you didn't win one?
Didn't you win a turkey? Oh, no, it was gifts or turkeys.
I got gift certificates for Canadian Tire. Can't really
sell turkeys.
They don't sell turkeys, and
You could buy a shotgun.
Not edible turkeys, anyways. You could probably buy like a turkey mannequin or something.
Yeah.
Decoy.
No. Yeah.
Hunter pranks. Put that in the oven.
Pluck yourself.
Okay.
Mo, do you have any shout outs?
To the other Baldwin brothers, Stephen, William, and Daniel, having to put up with Alec.
And have not shot anyone recently. So
They actually
all
just
Baldwin
owned
brothers
them
who
years
haven't shot anyone, put your hand up.
It's going to be an awkward Christmas dinner.
Dave, you have a shout out?
I do. To Kelly for the calendar. Thank you, Kelly. You're awesome. I was having a crappy day and I got a package from Kelly and I'm like, yay, day isn't this crappy. So thank you. And to Alec Baldwin and his lawyer, who we'll be hearing from after the show.
You will.
Oh, Adriel,
send all complaints to slamfireradio@gmail.com.
Care of Dave.
Well, I also would like to shout out Kelly for the calendar. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Everyone who got a calendar from Kelly, put your hand up.
One of these things doesn't blog.
Poor Mo.
I'll thank you next week, hopefully, or the week after that.
46 weeks.
Are you allowed to own gun calendars in Quebec? Is that
I think
they
so.
allow there? Okay.
But by the time I get my calendar, I'll actually be able to register it because it'll be in the new year. So.
No, that's true. One more thing you can register in Quebec.
Oh God. Dave. Oh,
it's the tea. It's the tea.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Oh.
I'll just shut up now.
And with that, we're going to sign off. So go check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Give us a like on Facebook. We're at 2,857 as of today. Give us a review on Facebook. Join the CCFR, and we'll see you next week.
Hola. No, that's wrong.
Hola.
Adios.
Buenos noches. Hola. You got the start.